What's up, everybody? Welcome into a special edition of the Batter Up Podcast, sponsored by the DL Mode here on the network. We promised it on Sunday that later the week, myself and the old ops guy would be talking Mets, and here we are. Got old ops guy, Mike Rifkin with you. Old ops guy. We got a lot to go over, so this may be longer than people expect.
It's going to be a lot longer than people would expect, and it's also going to, people are going to see a different side of the Happy Mets group that we usually are. We're going to tell the truth.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth. But
So,
just to go a few good men on you, as long as you could handle the truth.
and it's what it's going to be. And we know Steve Cohen and we know David Stearns are out there watching as you both follow the Sports Insanity Network. So let's
And Steve, if you're not, we'll send this to you later. All right,
definitely.
let's dive in. The Mets sit 43 and with a record of 43 and 60. They're 17 games out in the National League East. And in the wild card, they're a mere 10 and a half games out. So you stay, there's a chance.
And games is not hard to make up. It's not.
But let's be real honest about this. This team has not shown us they're capable of making that run.
Well, there's always that point to get at, but yes.
So I do want to start with some positives. We'll get the positives out. We'll dwell into the negatives in a minute. 6 games after the All-Star break, the Mets go on a 6-game road trip to Philadelphia, Milwaukee. They go 3-3 on the road trip, which by Met standards this year, that for me is a success.
In today, with what's going on with the way they play, yeah, it is, especially against two teams with better records.
Yeah. So there's the positive. You're 3-3 on that road trip. Would have liked 4-2, but you know what? We can't get what we want mainly because, well, we root for the Mets. Okay. So I dove into this on Twitter. I know you made a comment on it. I've been getting a lot of comments about my post from yesterday, which was if you watched the game, Brett Beatty was in right field, Christian Scott on the mound. A ball hit to right field. Brett Beatty could not make the catch on. Allows 2 runs to score. The next hitter gets a base hit. Third run scores. The Mets wind up losing the game 4-2 or 4-3. But in reality, if Brett Beatty makes that play, and I want to make this clear, I'm not dumping on Brett Beatty because Mark will tell you I actually like Brett Beatty.
Yes, he does.
Brett Beatty's not an outfielder. And Mark, here's where I'm going to get on my soapbox. I don't care if it's from David Stearns. I don't care if it's from Andy Green. I don't care if it's Brett Beatty's mother who called and said, I want my son in the lineup. If I've got Luis Robert Jr. healthy and I got Tyrone Taylor healthy, there's no reason. And to quote one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, The Rock, and The Rock means no business for Brett Beatty to be playing right field.
Well, that fly ball was catchable. Yeah, it needed a little tracking, but our president with one eye could have caught that ball. Okay, President Patchy could have been out there. He's shorter, slower, and only has 50% of his vision, and would have made that catch. Sorry, Patch, but that was giving you a boost. You deserve it.
He would have confused the baseball for a bowling ball. We all know that.
Yeah, but he still would have caught the damn thing.
But here's my thing. You have 5 outfielders because I'll even throw Soto in there, but Soto needed 48 hours off, or they wanted to give Soto 48 hours off because he didn't have a real All-Star break because he was in the game. Which, by the way, That's ridiculous too. If you knew today was an off day, you have a chance to go 4-2 on the road trip. You got to take that opportunity because you don't know when it's if this team could go on a run. We just said that they're 10.5 out of the wild card. Yeah, no one's expecting them to make a damn run. We're not expecting it. They're not expecting it. But you win series back to back against the Phillies and the Brewers. Hey, maybe we got some confidence here.
Absolutely. You know, the pitching is not there for the Mets. We've
We'll get into
already
everything.
we're going to get into that. But the first mistake is here. The reason why I believe Brett Beatty was in right field is because that trade deadline is coming up and they are trying to showcase what he can do. And they just blew it, if anything, showing that he can't play right field, which makes his trade value even worse. They're trying to trade these guys, but they're trying to trade them on basis of they're not just second base, third base. They're utility guys who can play the outfield. Maybe Brett knew this and dropped the ball on purpose so he wouldn't get traded. I'm sorry, Wilmer cried and got to stay. It doesn't work that way. Brett Beatty has had his chance, and Mike knows that I'm a Francisco Alvarez fan. We'll get into him later. Brett Beatty does not need to be in right field at any time. Okay, he can't play the outfield.
It's unnatural. So what you could have done is you could have put Jared Young, who played first base, you would have him in left field, keep Carson Benj in right field, and Brett Beatty plays first base, which he's done this year.
Yep.
That could have been done. I, I don't understand how they come up with what they came up with. I don't want to hear any explanation. Again, I'm not trying to dump this all on Brett Beatty. I blame more David Stearns than anybody for playing these guys out of position because you've done it all year. Bo Bichette's naturally shoots. Oh, he's playing third base. Now I'll give Bo this. His transition to third base has been pretty good.
Yep. If anything, he's made his value worth more now.
Right. So Bo has played third. You don't have a first baseman, which, by the way, was brought up by Keith Hernandez yesterday on the broadcast.
He didn't have a first baseman the opening day. So
Right. And I think that was the point, but of Keith, what Keith said. So this wasn't just a dump on Beatty. This was just more of a dump of realistically the three big reasons why this season has gone the way it's gone. You're playing guys out of position. For the most part, the starting pitching hasn't been what you thought it would be.
right.
And three, outside of really Juan Soto, the offense has been so inconsistent.
It's been very meek. You know, it's good to see the production of Benj,
Yep.
Ewing. It's good to say, hey, look, have these guys cemented their roles in next year? I would say so.
So,
You know, barring any God forbid injury. But I would say you could look for Carson Benj and Ewing playing together in the outfield for years to come right now.
so that brings us into the first real topic, which, according to Chelsea Janes, who's an insider for SNY, when the Mets claimed they were open for business last week, the only untouchables the Mets have are Juan Soto, Carson Benj, AJ Ewing, Nolan McLean, and Christian Scott. Those are the only untouchables.
So you basically have just said your entire team, besides those, are for sale. What's the biggest name that doesn't appear on that list?
Well, hold on. We'll get into that.
Oh, that's where I was going to go with right into it. Okay, not a problem. You got it.
No, because I want to preface this point because you brought up Alvarez before, and I bring up Beatty, and we all thought, okay, they're part of the new core.
Oh, yeah.
When but it hasn't worked out in the way the Mets have thought. But with guys like Benj and Ewing, but both have been awesome. Both are rookie of the year candidates. They've been very good. And then you throw in McLean and Scott, and it's kind of like, okay, for as bad as the Mets have played this year, there actually might be a a sliver of hope or a silver lining that comes out of what's been a tumultuous season. So I just wanted to say that before we do get into this other part, because as you mentioned, the one name exempt from that list is Francisco Lindor. Now, we could dive into a lot of things with Lindor, but I'm going to chalk this up, and I'm actually going to look up the contract in a second. Just give me a minute. But
And mind you, Mike and I had a plan, but I already know who he's talking about because it's the only person I would do it for.
so my thing is this on Lindor. I think we're both in the same camp of we're not moving him unless you get something back. Here's the problem. I don't think he fully recovered from the hamate bone early in the year.
Nope.
And then when you thought maybe he's starting to get that groove, he pulls his calf. And so he hasn't gotten into that rhythm yet. So Lindor is signed through 2032. So you got 6 more years at 10 or I'm sorry, that's years of service. At $32.4 million. So he's under contract for $32 million for the next 6 years.
Wouldn't that be nice to wake up every morning to?
So, one, it's going to be a tough contract move. But here's the other thing. Because I know there are Met fans out there who want to move, would love to move him, or who want to move him for whatever reason. My question to you would be who's playing if you were to move Francisco Lindor this winter, who's playing shortstop next year?
Well, you then can offer the full-time job to Bo Bichette.
If he opts in.
Well, no, I'm saying you before he has a chance to opt out.
Right.
You say to him, "Look, Lindor out. Shortstop is yours if you want it." He can choose to opt in or opt out at that point. If he opts out, then your question goes to right now, next in line. If you were to put anybody there, it's Ronnie Mauricio. That's technically the next best shortstop in the Mets system.
And that's a scary thought.
And I agree with you. I look, and Mike will back this as I backed him. I had backed Ronnie Mauricio for a very long time.
Yep.
I even have his autographed jersey hanging up in the room. I love this. I love this kid. I think he has the potential. And you want to know what? Be it that they rushed him up, and maybe it's my fault for saying to rush him up. Don't give up on this kid. This is the one I don't want to give away. But I also understand that you can't bottleneck your AAA franchise for years to come.
The thing is this the Mets have these 4 guys Mauricio, Beatty, Alvarez, Vientos. And they're all the I don't want to say they're all the same because they're not. But they all kind of line up similarly. They put up great numbers in the minors, and we're kind of still waiting on it at the big league level. Alvarez, it's been mainly injuries that have held him back. I don't know what's gone on with Viento since 24. Beatty, I got to be honest with you. I don't think Brett Beatty's really getting his fair shake right now.
Because he's not given the position he's been meant to play. That's
Right.
the problem.
And Mauricio, kind of same thing.
He got injured also early.
Right. He got hurt. You know, he's never been a great defensive player, but
Not given real chance either. you know, when you look at the four we're talking about, these guys,
That is what it is.
we,
What you were getting.
right? We believe this was going to be the core for the next 5, 6 years. Alvarez has been injured so much, and I love the kid. Has been injured so much he hasn't been able to make a consistent back-to-back year ever since he's been up. Beatty, I agree with Mike, has not been given a fair share because he's being put in spots he's not used to playing. Yeah, when you're in Little League, you play all over the place so you can get a feel for what it is. But when you get through college and all that, you're sticking to one, maybe two positions that you know well. And if you're on the infield like Brett Beatty was, it's third and second for him, which would make the most sense. But no, let's throw him in right field like when Mike said, you have Tyrone Taylor available. Why isn't he in there?
And, and look, here's the thing: because we did get off a little bit with Lindor. Because if you're moving Lindor, you're right. It's probably got to be Maurice here. Because here's the free agent group at shortstop next year. It's J.P. Crawford.
No.
It's Ha-Sung Kim, who can't hit,
Yeah, I was about to say
or
not
Torrey
bad
Mateo,
defensively, but
who also hasn't hit enough. So why would I trade Lindor's numbers for one of those guys? Now, if we do what you said and hey, Bo, you want to go back to short, that's a different conversation. But I would sit here and tell you this: like, I would still take Francisco Lindor over Bo Bichette.
I don't disagree with you. I mean, look, I'm not one of those Mets fans who wants to trade Francisco
Right.
Lindor.
Neither of us are.
I want to keep him. However, if an offer came from San Diego, Fernando Tatis Jr. for Francisco Lindor, no kickers, no nothing, just straight up, I would ask for 24 hours to sit and look at this. And you know what would be the biggest difference, Mike? It would be the age.
It would
It's
be
those,
the age because I
it's
don't
those
think
years.
Tatis has not crossed the 30
I
threshold.
think he's 28. I might be wrong, but I think he's 28.
I will double
Um,
check that.
and
Well,
and look, and he's had the biggest off year like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Power wise, it's just disappeared. But that's the only name in the world I would
27.
use 27. Okay. That's the only name and contract I'd be willing to flip with. But I would need 24 hours to think about it. Because here's the thing. The Mets got rid of. Let's not say they tried. They got rid of Pete Alonso. And
David
that
Stern
was
succeeded in that.
that destroyed this fan base.
Mm-hmm.
You trade Lindor or let him go, you don't have a fan base. It's
No.
not going to be a one. And then you know what's going to happen? 2029, Juan Soto's opting out and he's gone. So I'm not a billionaire. Neither is my pun master friend here.
Nope.
We're telling you like it is because we are the nobodies, but we're the nobodies whose voice actually counts because it's our opinions that matter.
And here's the thing: if we were the kind of people who watch a game a month, we would sit here and tell you we don't matter. I can't. I can speak for me. I try to watch every Met game.
I
I know
always have it
you.
on the computer. I might
Right.
not have it on the TV.
Right. And we'll tax what's going on and
Ah,
what's this. And you bring up a great point because I think going into this winter, whether there's a lockout in 27 or not, I don't think anybody needs a bigger winter than David Stearns because you're right in the sense of what he's done. He destroyed the fan base with letting Pete walk. And if he were to trade Francisco Lindor the next offseason, oh boy, there would be a riot outside of Citi Field.
oh, yeah. Juan Soto would ask for a trade. If Lindor goes, Juan Soto asks for a trade.
And here's the thing, because I wrote about it. You can check it out, sportsinsanitynetwork.com.
Great article, also up on our X account as well, by the way.
The trade for Tatis, because I'm thinking big picture. So we talked at the top. All the untouchables were included. Were Ewing, Bench, Soto, McLean, Scott.
Right.
So this trade will not happen. I would pretty much guarantee it. But if you're calling San Diego anyway, and I know David Stearns likes to be a master of his bullpen, and we'll get into everybody who could be available. What if you went Lindor, Peralta, Luke Weaver, and then one of these other guys, whether it's Vientos, Mauricio, one of those guys, and you get back Fernando Tatis Jr., and you get the services of Mason Miller.
That's where I knew you were going with it.
Because in my mind, here's how I'm thinking, Mark. I'm giving up Luke Weaver, who outside of Miller is the best reliever on the market.
Oh, undoubted.
We all know how good Lindor is. Vientos, I think, is the perfect change of scenery guy. And you get Freddie Peralta, who, if Tarek Skubal's not moved, Freddie Peralta, despite how crappy he's been, and he's been bad, he's the best starter on the market.
Come next year, yeah.
You know, and I can get back. I'll eat all the Fernando Tatis money.
Right.
And if you're serious on moving Mason Miller, then guess what I could do? Next year, the 2027 Mets, my back end is Devin Williams and Mason Miller.
Well, that was the hope with getting Devin Williams. It was going to be Devin Williams and Edwin Diaz. That was going to be the hope.
Yeah.
And we all thought that when they got Devin Williams, but then Edwin left. Okay. Devin Williams hasn't been great, but he hasn't been poor either. I mean, he's been
okay.
He's been okay. Let's call that Luke Weaver, Mike. I mean, I don't think I've seen a reliever have as much success in a single year like him in a long time. To the 18 innings, no give up a run streak, the clutch outings he's had over the last, I mean, we'll say they're clutch outings that gets him out of trouble. They still lose the game, but he's been, if you want to put up a Mets bright spot in the top three, he's there. The question becomes, if San Diego trades Mason Miller, as much as I would hope for it to be to the Mets, that'd be great. I have a feeling Mason Miller's going somewhere else. I have a feeling Mason Miller's going to the Yankees.
And listen, that's fine. But my point is, if you're going to shoot, you're shooting big on a Lindor deal.
If you put that trade up there, it's gonna sit there for 24 hours. It's not gonna be an instant yes, because I'm sure Lindor and I'm sure Tatis both have no trade clauses, and they both would have to approve the trade, which I'm sure Tatis will be glad to do. Does Lindor want to pick up and leave?
Right, he's got three young kids.
Yeah, does he want to pick up and leave? Does he want to leave the team? This is where he said he wanted to play out his career and finish. And I respect it. I respect the injury. The guy has been phenomenal every year he's been on the field.
And he's not an injury-prone player. He just got hurt this year.
Right.
And, he every day, he is a gamer. He plays every day. And let's not forget, they don't go on that run in 2024 without Francisco Lindor.
Correct.
How many big hits and big moments did Lindor have? Let's not forget, I believe he was the guy who drew the walk-off of Devin Williams in the ninth inning before Pete hit the
Pete
three.
Alonso hit the 3-run home run.
He
Yes.
walks, Nimmo gets a single, Pete out of here.
And no offense to Pete Alonso. When he hit the ball, I said, please go out. Everybody else in the world knows he was late on that ball. It just stayed fair and in the right spot. But let me tell you, it's Lindor's sparks and energy. He is I mean, you want to say Juan Soto is the face of your franchise because he's the $765 million man. Bull crap. Juan Soto is the face of this franchise. Really? I think it's Lindor's franchise. I had written an article that you can go look at on the network regarding why he's not gotten the captain. He should be. He has his walk-up song is sung by the entire stadium when he comes up, as it is a tribute to his wife. I mean, it's a great song, My Girl by Forgot. And he's loved. He jokes around. He's loved by all the players, the writers, everybody loves him.
And this is the other thing that gets me on the whole Lindor thing. We could talk about him being 32 years old. We could talk about, maybe he's lost a step defensively if you think that way. We could talk about the lack of power. The thing is this. When the Mets faded this year, who was out of the line? Francisco Lindor. And I get it. Because of the namesake, we're going to dissect everything he does for the money with the errors and all that other crap. This dude comes every day to play. Whether he's DHing or playing short, it doesn't matter. He's there in the lineup. He wants to play every day. To your point, like everyone wants to make this Soto's team or is this Lindor's team? Well, who cares whose team it is? They don't have to be best friends. Hell, when A-Rod and Jeter played together, they weren't best friends. They were closer when A-Rod wasn't a Yankee. Now no one can stand A-Rod as an analyst, but it's a whole nother conversation. Here's the thing about Francisco Lindor. And it's the same thing as Pete Alonso, Mark. They're lightning rods for the fan base. Mm-hmm. And David Stearns decided to break one of those lightning rods. If he breaks the other one, oh boy, all hell's gonna break. Oh, because we already know David Stearns is coming back. Steve Cohen said it.
David Stern is a bright mind. Where it went, I would like to know. If he left it in Milwaukee, go back there, pick it up, and come back.
And by the way, I'm going to quote The Wizard of Oz. I'm going to get the state wrong. But David Stearns, I'm referring you to as Toto here. You're not in Milwaukee anymore, Toto. Go out, do what you got to do to help this team win. Because let's be honest, everything you've done so far hasn't worked. You have something, or you want me to move on?
No. We can move on.
All right. So we'll talk about, let's get into the players and then we can get into the other part and then we'll dive into other stuff. All right. So we brought up Luke Weaver. And, I've said it. I think he's the best reliever on the market outside of Mason Miller. He is signed for another year. So you don't necessarily have to move him unless you're blown away. But we all know this with relievers too. They're up and down.
Well, nobody can be perfect forever.
Unless you're Mariano Rivera.
Fair enough.
Although he gave up a walk-off hit to Met legend Jason Bay.
and Met legend David Wright. No, I mean Luke Weaver uh, is the bright spot for the Mets this year. Wherever you're gonna move them, you're gonna get top tier players back. This is not a chance to go for minor league and whatnot. Target something that you need. You need a first baseman. Who can you get for Luke Weaver? Luke Weaver can get you a quality first baseman. The question is just who's available.
So let me ask you, putting the GM cap on,
Mm.
would you keep or trade Luke Weaver? What would you do if you were Stearns?
If I'm David Stearns and it can get me a primetime person at the right side of the infield, no offense to Jared, yeah, he's done what he's had to do. But if you can get me a name that plays there constantly, then yeah, I'm trading Luke Weaver here.
If I'm not blown away by Luke Weaver offer, I'm holding.
Right.
I
I'm saying it has to be top tier. I'm talking Pete Alonso, but 20 points up higher on the average.
All right, so we're in the same kind of ballpark. Best
Go
offer,
if
otherwise
Detroit
you hold them.
see if Detroit not Terry Scooball, sorry. Spencer Torkelson is available.
I mean, they're on a roll right now. I don't think they're moving anybody.
I know, but that's if you want to get somebody who has control and somebody who has been building and becoming better and better. Torkelson's really starting to tear up the league.
All right, and then there were rumors about this guy maybe getting an extension. He has a player option for next year. What do you do with Clay Holmes, who's supposed to pitch for Syracuse today?
Right. I'm not moving him either. I'm
Oh.
not. I do. Look, I like what Clay Holmes showed. I think it was untimely he got injured. He's got youth along with Nolan McLean. Those are your solid 1 and 2 pitchers right now. Let's see how he does. Comes back from the injury. I didn't know he was pitching tonight, so as Mike just let us know, he's inching closer to coming back to New York. Much closer than I thought he was. But I don't want to move Clay Holmes after what he showed last year. I think he's a solid 2 in this rotation.
So you would hope then he would either pick up the option or you find an extension.
Yep.
Which, by the way, I don't think that's going to cost you a lot of money. Maybe it's 3 for 75, which is 25 a year for a starter. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Because look, right now there's, in my opinion, there's 2 locks in the rotation. Maybe 3. Nolan McLean's a lock. Christian Scott, I think, is a lock. And I really like what I've seen from Zach Thornton.
His first 2 games have been very impressive, yes.
So if I bring in Clay Holmes, if I'm bringing Holmes back all of a sudden, okay, I got 4 starters, which may mean maybe I can expand this deadline to anybody who's listening. Is anyone interested in Sean Manaea?
And Kodai Senga.
And exactly. Because I got to tell you this, whether it's the deadline or this winter, even if you throw a bucket of balls, at this point, I think you have to dump Kodai Senga.
I'll be one of the first to admit it when the Mets, did not really prosper the first round and they went out and got Senga. I was very happy because I liked his numbers.
Yeah, he's got stuff.
His first year was pretty brilliant. Then he got injured and that was it. And then he got injured again. And then he got injured again. It kind of sounds like a Mets pitcher from the past, except the only difference was this one didn't get hooked on pain pills. Matt Harvey had a great couple of years, and then that's it. The Kodai Senga experiment, the Sean Manaea Yeah, look, Manaya's first year was brilliant. Same thing with what's his name, who went out to Oakland, had a great
Louis
first year.
Severino.
Thank you. Severino had a nice year. I was surprised they didn't keep him, but I understand you
Well,
upgrade.
when the A's give you 20 million a year, it was
Yeah, well, money talks. Let's not
oh yeah.
just there. Um, but no, the Kodai Senga experiment is over. Manaya, ship him up. I mean, I think Mike was being generous for a buck with the balls. I was about to say a valet for the bus, but there you go.
Train for a 7-Eleven Slurpee. I don't care. I mean, at
They're
this
not
and,
worth.
and
They're
again,
not worth anything.
right, saying him. Listen, Benaya's pitched better, so you'll maybe get small something. But Senga, if it's a 17-year-old kid in the Dominican Republic, okay. At
Yeah,
this point, I watch the team that trades from his Tampa, and he'll turn back into Kodai.
right. You know, he'll tune into Drew Ramison all of a sudden.
All right. Another name I put on the list. I'm going to start with this one because I have a hot take. Luis Robert, who has a $20 million club option for next year or a $2 million buyout. I would pick up the club option. I'm in. Here's my reasoning, Mark. The outfield the other night that had Robert, Ewing, and Bench.
Solid core, solid three.
15 fly ball outs. I need an outfield at Citi Field that could go get it. I know I'm taking a risk with the injuries on Robert, but the upside to me is still there. I have no problem for 1 year, $20 million,
This is a
especially when
message.
it's not my money.
This is a message for Dr. Galino. If somehow you could fix me up and I can go out and hit a 451-foot home run, hey, whoever doctor got him feeling better, and he comes back and does that, I mean, that's impressive. I mean, if anybody knows my history, it's ridiculous. But I was last year at the trade deadline, I was a no to this because of the injury. They traded him. I mean, they traded sorry, they traded him for Luis Angel Acuna. Um, you know, that to me was pretty even at that point. The money offering a little bit off, but whatnot. The Mets needed somebody who is veteran, and I like what he's potentially able to do. The back injury scared me, and then the moment he went on the IL, I said, "Here we go." Another victim of spinal stenosis on the New York Mets.
And you
It's,
see the upside. And by the way, I take a little bit of pressure off of him. Put him in left field. Put
why not?
AJ Ewing's your center fielder. And you know what this could open up? Because you brought up maybe get a big time first baseman. Hey, Juan Soto, you want to learn first base?
Juan Soto is a team guy, so I think he'd do it for the team. I don't think he wants to do it. I think he'd do it for the team. That's a shout out towards somebody else who didn't want to do it for the team.
Shout out to you, Rafi Devers. But yeah, I would keep Robert. I still think I know the injury risks are high, but
That's
1 year, I'm okay with it.
I would see if they could make it. I understand the club option is for 1 year 20. I would see if they could break it in 2 for 10, 2 for 20. See if they can rearrange it, saying, "Hey, we lost half of this season to really give you a fair chance. Instead of giving you 20 million 1 year, we'll give you 20 millions over 2 years, and we'll throw in some bonuses for home
Incentives.
run total incentives." That's the word I wanted. Thank you. Incentives for home runs, RBIs, stuff like that.
And then the last one who I find interesting is Bo Bichette, who we all know we need to hear the decision. Is he opting in, opting out? Because he's
And
looking to opt out. I'm moving him.
And see, that's the unfair thing about how this works. Right now, the trade deadline has less than what, 2 weeks to it?
It's August 3rd.
Okay, so yeah, we're less than 2 weeks away. until the trade deadline. I think if you're a player who's going to intend to opt out, you should have to announce it by the trade deadline to give the team a chance to coop anything. This way, they can't say, "Oh, you want to know what? No, I'm gonna stay. I'll collect my rest of my money, and then I'll opt out and leave." No, if you have an opt out, you have to make a decision before the trade deadline. That is not a current rule. I'm saying that should be a rule to know your players' intentions so you can do the right thing for your club. Bo Bichette, let's be honest. There is one team in the major league that needs whether it's a shortstop or a third baseman, and that's the New York Yankees. The New York Yankees would pay high to get Bo Bichette. Mind you, I have spoke very critical of him, and I would give him a chance. I would want Dominguez in that deal if that was a possibility. I would also want Spencer Jones, and then I would be crazy enough to ask for George Lombard Jr.
So two things on that front. One's going to get me off into a rant, so I'm going to wait on that first. Wait on that second. There's a couple of teams I wonder about Bo. What about a team again? Tampa Bay.
As another spot he could go, absolutely.
I mean, him playing shortstop because you got Junior Caminero hitting bullets at third. That would be one. I don't know if Milwaukee would go that big. I don't like making deals.
It would help them. I don't know if they would pay the price, but it definitely would. It definitely would help them.
I don't like making deals within the division, but the Braves could use a shortstop, I believe.
Fine, give up Drake Baldwin. I'll do that deal tonight.
You mean Austin Riley?
Oh, give me Drake. If we're gonna do it in Atlanta, give me Drake Baldwin and make Drake Baldwin Francisco Alvarez my catchers.
Or Schwellenbach.
Oh, see, that's a higher number.
Again, not asking for it, just
not asking for it. Just sometimes we like to think of fun things.
You like to think big. But here's the other thing, and this is going to set me off on my little tangent here. You said the one team. Now, there are three teams, as a Met fan, I don't like making trades with. I don't want to trade with the Phillies because I don't want to see them win. I know I just said the Braves. I don't want to see them win either. I also don't want to trade with the New York Yankees. And here's my issue, Mark. And I'm going to call people out for. I'm tired of the baseball media. People like you, John Heyman, who this player on the Mets would be really good fit for the Yankees. My job as a Met fan to have a player I like go to the Yankees because you want to be Brian Cashman's secret weapon through the media. Get the hell out of here. The Mets' job is not to make the Yankees better. As a Met fan, I enjoy it when the Yankees lose. No one was a bigger Pittsburgh Pirate fan this week than me, even though the Pirates suck and lost 2 out of 3. No one's a bigger Boston Red Sox fan than I am when they play the New York Yankees. And you want me to embrace the fact that, the Mets and Yankees would be great trade partners, knowing damn well it should never happen.
See,
by the way,
you keep going. You keep going.
Proposals on social media where you receive everything, you give the Mets nothing. To hell with you too.
Yeah, look, I'm talking realistically. There's only a few teams that Bo Bichette can go to, and I agree with Mike on every point that he's talking to, because I'm glad he's saying it, because God knows I don't have the balls to come out and say it. But I don't want them trading with Atlanta, Philly, or the Yankees either. But Mike got the gusto to say it first. But here's the thing. The Yankees have what the Mets need.
But here's what you remember. You know Family Guy. Everyone knows Family Guy. You remember the episode Peter goes to TV station? You know what really grinds my gears?
Yes.
It really pisses me off and grinds my gears when I see these dopey people put out these trade proposals of, oh, I want Bo Bichette and Luke Weaver, and I'm going to give you Spencer Jones, Ryan Weathers, and some jackass who hasn't even played, who's in single A.
Yeah.
No, if you want to come to the table and be smart, I'll listen to you. But
No,
I'm
it,
go
no, I
go,
agree with no, I agree with you. I'm
but
tired.
I'm tired and I'm sick of the baseball media who's on their knees worshiping Brian Cashman, who hasn't won a damn thing since 2009. Where, let's be honest, he bought the damn World Series when he says AJ Burnett, CC Sabathia, and Mark Teixeira. By the way, no issue with any of those three guys.
Yeah,
Shout out CC. I thought you were great on the broadcast Sunday night, Yankees Dodgers.
did not see it.
The media's job is not to cozy up Brian Cashman and be like, ooh, this is what the Yankees should do. Your job is to report, not kiss his ass. My job as a fan and being who I am, I'm going to criticize you for doing it. So I don't want to hear from Yankee fans unless you're going to come to the table with a real offer. Philly fans, I really just don't want to hear from you because you're going to just lose in the NLDS anyway. And Brave fans, you got Ronald Acuna. I got nothing really.
No,
Yeah, I just yeah, it pisses me off.
no. If the real the a real trade that could be talked about, I'm not saying it will be because Mets and Yankee fans never can agree on anything anyway, no matter where they are. But a fair offer for something like Bo Bichette to go to the Yankees, you better be coming with Jason Dominguez. You better be coming with Spencer Jones and George Lombard. Those three names would be
If
more
you
than
wind up with one of those three in a pitcher, I'll. And by the way, I'd rather have Jones than
Derek Cole in there
Dominguez.
too. We'll take him too.
But actually, there is one thing Mets and Yankee fans can totally agree on: the New York Jets still suck.
Yep, you can go to LaGuardia and look at him anytime, just sitting there on the tarmac doing nothing.
Uh, that felt good to get off my chest.
Well, sometimes a good rant
It
does that
felt
for
good.
you.
It felt pretty good. Um, yeah, but yeah, I would move Bichette if he's not going to come back. I'm intrigued by Huskar Brazaban. He's got years of control.
Right. He's got plenty of time to stay with this team to improve.
But let me ask you this one. Devin Williamson for 3 years. We brought up the Untouchables before.
I don't see a reason why you couldn't move him. You could put almost any person in a closing role. Any pitcher could technically be a closer. Yes, you want that person to be, a definite 1, 2, 3 guy, 3 outs guaranteed. That's what you want. But anybody could be a closer.
All right. The one name I didn't mention because I did have a question on him is Freddie Peralta, who we talked about before. He has stunk up the joint. He hasn't been good. Let me ask you this: if you're David Stearns, if you don't get the offer you want for Freddie Peralta, knowing there's a chance he may take it, although I don't think it's likely, would you consider the qualifying offer?
No, not
You wouldn't even
not after
qualify. Okay.
no, not after what he's displayed. I had such high hopes when they landed him. I bringing him with David Stearns. I thought this was the beginning, and let's call it Humphrey, of a beautiful friendship.
No, that's fair.
I really thought, and then all right, not every pitcher has a great first game, but to have the season giving up an average, I think his ERA is now over 5.
501.
Okay, yeah, it's over 5, and average 7.2 hits a game. I mean, he's shown signs of what he was Is it the fact that he's overstriding because he's trying to prove he can be the ace so he gets that extension? He has now put himself into a position where whatever contract he gets offered, there's not going to be a huge amount of money attached to it like he would have gotten in last year. So I don't even, and the qualifying offer has to be around what, 27, 28,
Something, it's gotta be in that ballpark.
27, 28. I'm not committing $28 million to a guy who's supposed to be my number one, who's got a 5.01 ERA, who can't get anybody out. Sorry. He's had better than 2/3 of the season to prove it, and he hasn't done it. So here's the thing. You can get an ice cream cone and maybe some magic shelf for it on top of a cone and give him away. Go for it. I'm sure there's a team that would be willing to give up a couple of decent
Oh,
prospects
oh yeah.
for the help right now. I'm sure there are a couple of teams.
The Cubs. The
Actually, yeah, the Cubs, I could see that. Who they would go after,
actually,
I don't
you
know.
know, would be the greatest deal. You trade it back to the Brewers for Jet Williams.
By the way, shout out Brendan Sproat. I'm still buying your rookie cards because I still have faith in you. I'm sorry you got beat up by the Mets, but I still got faith in you. Still buying your rookie cards. He was one of the names I didn't want to go, but I understood why.
And shout out George Michael for faith.
Yeah, no offense. Brendan Sproat has a better record than Freddie Peralta. Not by much, but he does.
And the ERA's higher, I believe, for Spur.
Yeah, but Freddie Peralta should not be in this discussion right now. Freddie Peralta should have 10 wins, maybe 4 losses, 5 losses, and should have an extension of 5 to 6 years on the table and done already. No, he's made it easy for the Mets to say, "Oh shit, we just gave up 2 good prospects for a crap year. I'm not extending this guy." So if we're gonna trade him, we're gonna trade him. We're gonna get the best value we can. We find nobody who wants him. He rides out the season. I'm not qualifying him. What is his number gonna be? Because if the Mets don't qualify him, he gets to go out and make his number. If his number is anything over 20, I think that's a joke.
Right. I don't know what the qualifying number will be. I don't think that's set yet. But obviously we have to wait anyway on the
Right.
CBA. But right, I think they're obviously gonna trade him. It's just I was just curious if they didn't get what they wanted, if they consider it. Uh, Now I want everyone to notice I didn't put either catcher on this list. Here's why. I'm not trading either catcher. I'm not trading Alvarez. I'm not trading Torrance. When I've got the best catching duo in the game and I got one of them, I'm not plucking from that.
And you got 2 good catchers in the downfield that they're not in the downfield. Jesus, in the minor leagues that they're not going to trade, and that being I almost said Peralta again, and Kevin Pareda. They're not going to trade them. They've pretty much stated big league wise. They've been asked for trades on Pareda. Pareda's going nowhere. The future of this club is Pareda Alvarez.
And you just signed Torrance, so you're not trading him after you just signed him.
Exactly.
And I understand the point of trading Alvarez, but at 24, I'm not giving up on him.
No. And that's the thing. Here's the only player, and I said this to you earlier when we talked about the Mets. He's the only player I want to lock up for the next. And I hate long contracts, and Mike and I know this, but I want to lock him up 6, 7 years. Get him till he's 30. His defense is unmistakably great. He's
Yeah.
willing to take the painful notches for the team. I want his bat to awaken. And when the 2 players meet, the offense and the defense player come together, it's going to be a scary person at that play. It's going to be another Cal Raleigh.
One can only hope. So let's fast forward here. We get through the deadline. We get into the off season. Obviously, the CBA is going to be the big talk. I mean, here the free agent list. They're not going to go for a catcher.
Nope.
If you're interested in a first baseman, I mean, Yandy Diaz is available. Ryan Mountcastle, Andrew Vaughn, Carlos Santana, who
Isn't
I
he like 500 years
he
old?
he yeah, he's up there. Paul Goldschmidt, who's also up there.
I'll give credit to Goldie though. He's having a nice year in New
He's having a
York.
nice year.
I'll give him
Josh
credit.
Bell and Christopher Morel, who I really don't have any interest in.
I have no interest in Morel. Josh Bell has shown signs of greatness and signs of why does he play baseball. So there's not one player there I see being a permanent cement block for the Mets. That's gonna have to come via trade.
Yeah, second base. I mean, you could always kick Bo Bichette over,
Good.
which I would like to do. That way, Brett Beatty can play his natural position. But if you wanted a second baseman, Jazz Chisholm's out there.
Oh no.
Yeah, I have zero interest. Ozzy Albies as a club option. I would think the Braves will pick
I
that
would
up.
think the Braves are claiming that. They're not gonna let him walk.
Bill Murphy's favorite baseball player, Gleyber Torres.
No.
One of my favorites, Luis Arise.
See, that's in that for the hitting availability. Yes, I don't know. I don't know how he's doing defensively this year.
He's not a great defender.
Okay, so then what would be the point?
Yeah. Brandon Lau. That would be the interesting one. I don't
That
know.
would be the biggest. That would be the biggest name right there. He's having a good year over in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I don't know why the Pirates would let him go. Jonathan India and Jeff McNeil.
Well, Jeff McNeil's the
Jeff
dinosaur.
McNeil's an out.
Yeah, Jonathan India 2 years ago was interesting. He's fallen back up.
Injuries have started him.
Yeah, 2 years ago though, he was a nice prospect.
All right, third base outside of Bo Bichette. There's Eugenio Suarez,
Too old now.
Alec Bohm.
Two
And
Phillies.
no, nothing really else that's great out there.
You
Anthony
have a third
Rendon would be a
baseman.
free agent next year.
Bull crap.
We went over shortstops earlier.
And you don't
The Mets
need outfield.
The Mets don't need an outfielder. We've gone over that. And then there's starting pitchers. You know, we
That's
all know
where
about
it isn't.
Skubal. Kevin Gosman's a free agent. He has the Mets on his no trade list, but guess what? The Mets aren't trading for him. Michael King has an opt out.
King I wanted.
Sandy Alcantara's got a club option. Shane Bieber, Corbin Burns has an opt out, but I got to think he's staying because he hasn't pitched.
I was about to say he hasn't thrown a ball
Yeah,
yet.
but I mean, look, the Met. We know what the Mets need. We're gonna know what they need, but again, everything's gonna depend on the CBA anyway.
Well, and I mean that's a topic in and of itself, and we'll get to that really more at the end of the season when we get a feel of really which way this is going to go, because it goes one of two ways. It goes lockout or play next season. That's it. Those are the only two ways it can go.
And we'll have to see what they're gonna do to play.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it. I've been through this. I don't want to go through it again. I don't think baseball will survive it again.
No, I don't either.
I honestly think you're going to have players going to join the banana ball leagues before they're going to be coming back to the MLB.
You finally have players who are bringing baseball back to kids.
Yeah.
And you're going to lock it out. I mean,
and I agree there has to be some type of balance of flux when you have teams like the Yankees, the Mets, and the Dodgers who all can spend hundreds of millions of dollars, and then you have teams like, well, let's just figure Sacramento, the Sacramento A's will be well funded. But you look at other teams that can't spend in the hundreds of millions area. Look at Cleveland, signed one big person, and it was the one person who really deserved the contract. Now it's Jose Ramirez. He's the reason why Cleveland fans come to see them play. He's a fantastic ball player. I give my left arm to get him a trade over to New York.
All right, last thing before we call this. Andy Green has already said he's not the manager next year. He's going to go back to doing his farm directing job.
Yeah, he didn't want this.
Who do you think the Mets hire as their manager? Well, all right,
I'm sure you have in front of you a list of who's available. So that's what I was going to ask. I'm sure I know you very well. You have a list of who's
I
available.
don't have a list, but I got 3 names on my mind.
All right, then let's work off that.
You can go with Alex Cora. The deep sleeper in here is AJ Hinch if Detroit decided to move on. And then there's the whole Carlos Beltran thing.
All right.
And like, if you want to throw in like a Joe Girardi or someone like
No,
that,
no, don't you even dare say that. I'll hang up this call right now. No Joe Girardi.
listen, you just said to give you names. I'm giving you names.
No, okay, stop the name. Let's work off the 3.
I'll give you one more. You know what? No, I'll give you one more. Joe Madden.
Okay, fair. Okay. So you just gave me 4 great managers. Alex Cora
and one Joe Girardi.
and one Joe Girardi. Alex Cora knows the game inside and out. It has had some questionable moments in his past. Let's call it what it is. AJ Hinch. This is a guy who's revived the Detroit Tigers and has made them a watchable team. If you can somehow manipulate AJ Hinch, I'm sure AJ Hinch could be very helpful in manipulating a Tyreek Skubal. That I'm just throwing that in there. That just ties that up. But Mike, I think you called it with the last one, and that's Carlos Beltran. I've read the 2 articles that were put out by Mets Insider and put out by SMY regarding the want and availability. And Beltran has expressed his want to be the manager, but he's also enjoying his time as the recruitment player for the Mets.
Yep.
I mean, it's not like he's lowballing it to being recruitment player. He's in charge. It's not like he's one of the guys who report. It's him. He goes down. He says, I want this guy. This kid's coming with me. He signs from right then and there. Doesn't need Met approval. He's enjoying his time. But far from it me to not say, does Carlos Beltran have a past? And Mike, are you willing to admit he has a past?
He has a path.
Can that past be looked by now?
Yeah, he's going into the Hall of Fame. The Mets are honoring him.
Just like we've now had to look past the Barry's Bonds issue.
Here's my issue with Carlos. And it'd be the same issue I have with an Albert Pujols. And I love Albert Pujols.
I love him too, yes.
And I still hold my grudge against Beltran for the 06 NLCS.
Who doesn't?
My thing is this. Carlos Mendoza was a first-time manager. I want some guy now with some experience, with some gut feel.
Yeah, and why they let go of Buck Showalter, I'll never know.
Because David Stearns didn't hire him.
Biggest mistake.
I don't disagree with you. Now, I think in David's mind, I thought he was going to bring in Craig Counsell.
Well, that was our article. And I can guarantee you go look back at around this time, that was the article from Mike and me on a collab.
Yeah, when
David Stearns definitely they met. Will Craig Counsell be the manager? And I believe that's what we had focused on.
Yeah, once Stearns came in, I think he thought he'll bring in Counsell from Milwaukee. Craig said, no, I'd rather be closer to home, which, by the way, that's his prerogative.
And it's his life, absolutely.
But now you got to bring in a guy who has some experience, who can give this team the push they need.
I hate to put it this way, and I'm not usually this type of person. So, Mike, mind you, this is me. I think Carlos Beltran will bring something that no other manager has been able to bring to the style of what this club has come to be, and that's Latin flair. I'm going to call out and say it. The club is made up of Dominican and Latin players. And there's nothing bad about that. Please, I'm not throwing this
No,
as bad.
but you could also make that same argument for Albert Pujols.
Yes. And I've even said I would love to give Pujols a shot. If he does very well in the second half, keep him for a year or two. Why not? Carlos Beltran will bring what Pujols can bring. Is that type of Latin flair excitement to a team that is based on that? Yes, that's what Carlos Mendoza, I think, was meant to do, and he miserably failed at it. This team was built to win. It was just built to win with the wrong person leading it at the time. Buck Showalter would have gotten this team where it needed to be. And that was the mistake. Mind you, once Buck left, every domino started falling. All the mainstays, the untouchables of Nimmo, untouchables, Buck Showalter got him his 8-year deal. Mind you, it was Showalter who got them to keep Nimmo. So yeah, it's an unfair place to put Carlos Mendoza and say we expect you to do. Carlos Mendoza didn't have this team's ear.
Carlos Mendoza this season was set up because of last year's failures.
Yep.
And he became the scapegoat for David Stearns and everything else. Now, David Stearns has to hit 1,000 this offseason with the managerial hire, to the free agency, to trades he's going to make. Because right now, Mark, you said it at the top. You've angered the fan base. This year is unacceptable. And whether there's a season next season, half a season next season, no season next season, a fan has a memory like an elephant. We don't forget.
No.
And right now, Met fans sure as hell are not in a forgiving mood.
No, because Mets fans do not deserve to be where we are, especially where we were 3 years ago.
It's brutal.
Yep.
But the state of the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That'll do it for the special edition of the Batter Up podcast. Sponsored by the Dugout of Millwood. Mark, you want to bring up anything with the Dugout?
Dugout is still waiting on PSA to return everything. Unfortunately, PSA was inundated and is backlogged. So we're kind of quiet, but we will have a 101 and the ending of Troy's baseball adventures and the beginning of Charlotte's softball adventures. So we're ending one, we're beginning one. So we're incorporating. We're getting bigger, everybody. Just stay tuned.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe here to the YouTube channel. Go to the socials, Facebook, the Sports Insanity Network, Twitter, Insanity Real. Sunday morning, two of us and Danny Boy Reginald will be live for Batter Up. Hope you can come in, watch, let us know what you think. Until then, for the old ops guy, Mike Rifkin, and we will talk to you.